Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be learning how to divide polynomials. Now we can divide polynomials using two different ways. The first one is long division, and the second one is synthetic division. Now long division is the same long division that you learned in elementary, except this time we are doing it with variables, with polynomials. Synthetic division is also known as the box method, and it is something we are going to be talking in the next video. In today's video, we are going to be learning how we can divide polynomials using the long division method. So let's dive into it. Before we actually do some division questions, I really want us to be aware of common terminology. So just remembering, the piece before our division sign is called our dividend. The piece after our division sign is called our divisor. Okay? Now, one way to write division is like this. You have your dividend that is being divided by your divisor. A different way is like this. So you can have your polynomial or your dividend at the top. You can have a long line, which just means or represents the division symbol. And then you have your divisor at the bottom. Now, when we're doing long division, we are going to be using this symbol. And outside this symbol, we write our divisor. Inside, we write our dividend. Okay, just remembering that. Okay, let's get started. So when we are doing long division, we're basically following 3 steps, and we keep repeating those 3 steps until we reach a constant, which is just a plain number. Okay, so let's start. My first step is I have to divide the first terms. Now, you always start with the inside, with the dividend, and you divide it by the divisor, okay? So I'm going to take the first terms, which are 2x to the power of 3 and x. So I have to take 2x to the power of 3, and I'm dividing it by x. Remember, there is an imaginary 1 here, and this x has a power of 1. What's 2 divided by 1? That's just 2. When you are dividing variables, you subtract exponents. So we're going to do 3 minus 1, which is just 2. Now the answer I get, I put it at the top. Okay. So that completes my first step. I have divided my first terms of my dividend and my divisor. The next step is I have to multiply the new top with the divisor. So I take this new top and I'm going to multiply it by the entire divisor. So let's do that. 2x to the power of 2, or 2x squared, multiplied by x plus 2. Now, if you need some help with multiplying polynomials, you can check out my last video where we learned how to multiply polynomials. So 2 times, again, there's an imaginary 1 here. 2 times 1 is 2. When I am multiplying my variables, I add my exponents. So that's x to the power of 3 plus 4x squared. I put this inside my box right here. So let's do that. 2x to the power of 3 plus 4x squared. And I encourage you to put brackets around it. Every time you're putting something on the inside of your box, I encourage you to put brackets around it just because it helps. Okay, so now I have multiplied my new top with the divisor, and I'm on to step 3, which is subtract and bring down. Whenever you write a term inside your box, you need to be putting a subtraction sign in front of it. Okay, and then we just subtract. So 5x squared minus 4x squared is just x squared, or 1x squared. 2x to the power of 3 minus 2x to the power of 3 is just 0. So I'm not going to write that 0. So I've done the subtraction part. Now I have to do the bring down part. So I'm going to bring one term down that's right next to currently the row or the column I'm working in. Okay, so that's negative 3x. Now you start over with the steps. So I'm going to change color this time. So again, I have to divide my first terms, except this is my new dividend. So I have to take the first term of this dividend and the first term again of my divisor. So x squared divided by x, that's just x to the power of 1. I write this at the top. Okay, so that completes step 1. Step 2 is multiplying the new top with the divisor. So x is my new top. I multiply it with the entire divisor. And that gives me x squared plus 2x. I put this over here, put brackets around it, and in front of it, remember I want to put my minus sign. And we subtract. Negative 3x minus 2x, that's negative 5x. X squared minus x squared is just 0. And then I have done the subtraction part. I'm going to do the bring down part now, which is plus 4. Okay. Now I start over again. I'm going to change color. So I have to divide the first term. So this is my first term, and then this is my first term. Negative 5x divided by x. That's just negative 5. So I'm going to write that at the top. So whenever you're dividing two numbers, the answer goes at the top. Whenever you're multiplying two numbers, the answer goes at the bottom or inside the box, okay? So now I've done my first step. I have divided the first terms. My second step is to multiply the new top with the divisor. So new top is negative 5, and my divisor is x plus 2. That's this outside part here, and we have to multiply it. That gives me negative 5x minus 10. Now, because I'm multiplying, it goes inside my box. Now, the third step I am at is subtracting and bring down. So remember, put brackets around it. Put the subtraction sign and subtract. 4 minus negative 10 is the same as 4 plus 10, which is 14. Negative 5x minus negative 5x is the same as negative 5x plus 5x, which is 0. Now, we have reached our constant. When you are left with a plain number, with no x's, no variables, nothing, that means you're very close. And you do one last step, which is you divide the first terms, okay? So we're going to take 14, we're going to divide it by x. That does not divide nicely. So you know you are done. However, you do need to put this piece at the top still. And you are done, my friend, okay? So there it is. Once you have reached a constant, you are done. However, still check with that constant the division piece, and if it does not divide nicely, you put it at the top. If it does divide nicely, you continue, okay? I hope that made sense. So I have a practice question for you that I would like you to try. I have written the steps at the top. So remember, you're dividing the first terms. You multiply the new top with the divisor, and you subtract and bring down, and you stop once you have reached a constant, and you are going to check that it does not divide nicely and add it to the top. So at this point, I encourage you to pause the video and try this, and then once you have the answer, you can check whether you got it right or not. Okay, so let's start with our first step, which is dividing the first terms. So my first term in my dividend is 3x to the power of 3. My first term in my divisor is x. I'm going to divide it. That gives me 3x squared. I put that on the top. Right? When you're dividing, you put things on the top. When you're multiplying, they go inside your box. Step 2 is to multiply my new top with the entire divisor. That gives me 3x to the power of 3 minus 6x squared. Because I've multiplied, it is going to go inside my box with brackets around it and the minus sign in front. And then I just solve the subtraction question. Oops. Negative 5x plus 6, so that's the same as negative 5x squared plus 6x squared, which is going to be 1x squared, or just x squared. 3x to the power of 3 minus 3x to the power of 3 is 0. I'm not going to write it down. So we have done the subtraction part. Now we do the bring down part. Plus 6. And I start over. So I'm going to divide my first terms again. So that's x to the power of 2 and x. So x squared divided by x, that's just x. And I put that x on top. Next step is to multiply the new top with the divisor. So new top was x. The divisor is x minus 2. The answer I get is x squared minus 2x. I put that over here, put brackets around it, and a minus sign in front, and I solve it. So 6 minus negative 2x is the same as 6 plus 2x. And then x squared minus x squared is just 0. So I'm going to leave it like that. Now, I am going to actually rewrite this. Whenever you're in this situation, always make sure your variables are first and they go in descending order. So the highest degree should be the first term. So I'm going to switch this. I'm going to make this 2x plus 6. Just because that way that x is the first term, okay? Always do this. Now, this is my first term, and this is my first term. Let's divide them. 2x divided by x, that's just a 2, okay? So plus 2. Next step is to multiply that new divisor, or the new answer, with the divisor. So let's do that. That gives me 2x minus 4. And I add that over here, 2x minus 4. Brackets, subtract. 6 plus 4, 6 minus negative 4 is the same as 6 plus 4, which is 10. 2x minus 2x is 0. So now I have reached a constant, right? I have reached a number, a plain number with no variables, and that tells me I'm very close to the answer. All I have to do is I have to check if 10 can be divided by x, and it cannot. So I just add it to the top, and I am done. Okay? And there we go. You have solved a division question. I hope this video helped. If you would like me to make more videos practicing long division, please comment down, subscribe to the channel if you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.